Good morning. Welcome to Winnipeg. Overcast Winnipeg. No sunrise this morning. But what we do have, maybe, at the end of today's episode, is a moonrise. I was checking my comments last night, and I'm sitting there in front of the computer, and I'm answering comments, and one of the comments that came through was from Fumble Thumbs. I think his name's Jeff, the guy that sent us the camera. Anyway, he says that the moon is nice and bright tonight, or something like that. If I don't have the comment right in front of me, I can't remember it word for word, but I can remember the gist of it. And the gist was, the moon is nice and bright. Maybe in your area you can see it. So I was typing in, I'll check that out, and then I thought, well, all I have to do is look over into my monitor, and like I have a monitor like this by my computer as well, and crazy, right? Anyway, I look over, and sure enough, in camera number 8, which is this one right here, it was showing up pretty good, and as I was staring at it, I could see the clouds going by, and I thought, that might make a nice time lapse. It wasn't real sharp, and it was in black and white, but it was interesting. So if I downloaded all the files from that for about 3 hours, from about 8 o'clock at night through to about 11, when the moon sort of made its way up out of the scene. So if it's interesting, I'll put it at the end of today's episode, and you can watch it or you don't have to watch it. Anyway, now, how is this going to hold when we take our clamp off? I haven't taken it off yet, so I really don't know. It could be that it's going to be just fine, or it could be that it's going to slowly come apart, but I don't think so. I think it's going to stay together. I think that melding that went on there right up here and at the very tip or bow is probably going to be strong enough to hold it. And then I imagine too that when the deck goes on, that will also hold it. It'll keep it from spreading apart. Kind of like what I was talking about when that guy was talking about how the Texas would slowly pancake down. And I was trying to say, no, it's got the decks holding it together this way. And it's not gonna spread out. I can't get over that. I'll try not to talk about it again. It's just that poor guy, he lost all credibility in my books when he said that. And I have listened to him before. I mean, he did say he does have a pretty interesting show. Takes you into different parts of these battleships and talks about them. Anyway, enough about that. Let's there's not going to be a rollback. I didn't do anything here. I didn't want to go ahead and take this clamp off. I wanted to give it lots of time, so there's no rollback. Let's recompose here and take our clamp off. Okay. Now, I realize that just because it doesn't come apart right now as soon as we release the pressure here, and this is the first time that I'm doing this, so. Okay, that doesn't mean that over time it won't slowly let go. Sort of like just because the Texas is not pancaking down while it's sitting in a dry dock right now, doesn't mean that in 100,000 years it isn't going to pancake down. Okay, I just want to clarify that. Now, I don't think we need the macro lens here. I think that this is going to be really good. I'm going to try and find actual photographs of maybe in that book that I got on the Kindle, Drabinski's book, it might show the Iowa. By the way, a couple of the viewers mentioned that this part that goes on here that has the two anti-aircraft guns on it, that was apparently called the pulpit. It seems to me I had read that years ago, but I'd forgotten that. Yeah, thanks for those little reminders. Yeah, I don't mind it when the viewers sort of help me with my ignorance here when it comes to ships. All right, let's move on here. Were we going to try this? Somebody was thinking that there seemed to be a lot of space here. No, I had actually thought that this thing fit really, really well. Maybe I didn't have it positioned up far enough. And yet, on the other hand, if I have it too far up, it's not going to mate way in the back here, where it has to go on the rear decking. Like this piece here is just strictly the front half, bow half. So I was actually quite pleased with the way everything was fitting. So, and right here, the pulpit is going to be covering anything anyway. You're not going to see if this doesn't fit, which is kind of too bad because I think is there any planking there? No, there's no planking that you're going to not see anyway. But there is the ways that go down into the hose pipes. Okay, enough rambling here. Now later I did find a photo, and this shows it pretty good, at least from one angle. It gives you the idea of the size of it and how much it's stuck over the side of the bow. Now apparently this was not always on the ship. It was something that was added later, because when I look at photos that were taken when it was being launched, this pulpit wasn't there. Now, also interestingly, the word pulpit does not appear anywhere in Drambinski's book. So, just thought I'd mention that. Kind of funny. If they called it the pulpit, why wasn't it mentioned? Maybe they called it something else in the book, and I just haven't come across it yet. Okay, just thought I'd throw this in here. Okay, so today is grocery getting day. So in just a few minutes, in other words, about 10:30, I'm supposed to meet my neighbor outside at my car, and we're going to go pick up the groceries. So I don't know how today's episode is going to go. What I do know is we have finished step 1. Okay, step 2. I'll put that on later. This shouldn't take long. These are, when I put these in place, before I actually glue them in place, I'm going to want to make sure that the deck is going to fit properly. In other words, if I glue them and the deck and the hull is squeezed together too much, the deck isn't going to fit. So I'm pretty sure it's going to fit. These things didn't affect the deck on the other 3 ships. I don't think they will in this one, but it only takes about 2 minutes to check. So, all right. So we need U4, 3, and 1. Wonder what would U2 be? Okay, U2. It sounds like a spy aircraft or something. Okay, let's continue on here. Okay, we've got them here, and it looks like U2 is the nameplate, which we are probably not going to be using. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly nip these off. Now I'm going to take out about a minute here to get the groceries. So if you don't want to watch groceries being got, well, just scrub ahead about a minute, and you'll be back to the model ship. Okay, I didn't need to number these, but I did anyway. Number 1 and 3 here are almost exactly the same width, just a little bit different. But I think it'd be almost impossible to get them wrong. I was noticing though that the pins are very, very tight in the holes. I'm just wondering if maybe I shouldn't drill them out just a tiny bit. I'll know once I try to put one in here. Okay, number 1 goes to the back. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about was I was noticing a moment ago that right here there is a little bit of a gap. If I was to squeeze on it, it goes together maybe a half a millimeter. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some, probably the extra thin quick setting, and just sort of squeeze this together here. It will also help to hold the front of the bow together. Now when I came back from doing groceries, I got busy doing making a pressure cooker full of cream of rice and celery soup. Okay, I think that's enough. And that took up quite a bit of time. So we're going to have a shorter episode here today, I'm afraid. Okay, and this doesn't need to be real tight. Just hold those together. And being as we're using the quick setting, it'll probably be set in about, I'm guessing, 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, I don't know if this is going to make a difference or not, but I was noticing that there was a flashing seam along on those pegs, and it could be that that's why they didn't seem to want to go in very good. No. No, they're still pretty tight. I think I'm afraid of what's going to happen is if I can't get them in, and I try to pull them back out, I might break them right off. Then I'm going to be worse off. So I think I'm better off to just drill those holes out about a couple of thou bigger than these pegs are. At least that's the plan. Okay, I've got a bit here that measures out to about 4/1000ths of an inch larger than the pin at the widest place on the pin. The pins aren't perfectly round. And the idea of the masking tape is I don't need to go in any further than I have to. So I think that if I stop when the masking tape hits the shoulder of the whatever that thing is called in there. Now I got to allow for the fact that the bit is sort of tapered. So I think that's going to be okay though. I was just looking outside a minute ago and we got a real miserable storm moving in right now. Oh, my tape moved up just a little bit. Good thing I didn't go out the bottom of the boat or I'd have a leak. Yeah, that's going to be better. That's going to be better. Okay, got the other ones drilled out. Now, a moment ago, I heard my pressure cooker pressure cap click off, which means that the pressure is released. I better go and deal with that. I know that lately I've been having some nice long episodes, but today isn't going to be one of those days. There's just other stuff, today that I want to do here. So I'm going to call it quits for today's episode. And thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.